Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Revival League Season 2 Close Qualifiers Round 3. My name is Retro, and we are back here again. If you were around earlier on in the afternoon when we had a brilliant match coming out between Mindset Gaming and Oblivion XC, you know that we had a really, really interesting match coming out, and I think it's going to be another quite interesting match here between Outnumbered and Budapest 5. Unlike Wait, no. Are these also undefeated teams? I'm starting to lose my marbles a little bit. I don't think. Okay. Okay. That's what I thought. Okay. So Outnumbered is undefeated. I think they're the last team, or I guess alongside MSG, they're the last team to not have lost the game yet. That could change here as Budapest 5 could take their second win here in the close qualifiers. But Outnumbered also could be doing a number on Budapest 5 and could be taking the game here. But that's a long way away in either way of the results. And here on Cafe, I am pretty excited for this matchup, specifically because of the fact that it's Cafe, and obviously, these two teams, I think, are going to fare up against each other pretty well. And wow, that is... Wow. That... As a Castlemaine, that pains me. As a caster, that excites me. Just because of how interesting of a ban that final one was. So I guess I don't know how much I was gonna go into the bans originally. Now I definitely have to talk about it because of how significant that castle ban is. So the Monty ban, I do believe, is a bit of a target ban against Budapest 5. We've seen them bring Monty before. So it wouldn't surprise me if that is the reason for it, but also Monty can be kind of a nuisance on this map. He can sort of just try and push into sight a lot of the time without really a lot of way to deal with them, specifically for that bottom floor site of kitchen and dining, which is just or kitchen service. I don't really know what the other side of that map is called, of that site is called, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, that, like, Monty can be quite a bit of a nuisance, so that doesn't surprise me. Nook coming out next. She is always very strong. She's got those nades. She's got a pretty hard-hitting weapon even after the nerfs. And she is, of course, very quiet, very fast. And she can sneak up past any utility that you might have. Well, not any utility that you might have, but any cameras, anything like that. She can sneak up past that and, come in to stab you in the back. And then finally, or rather than the Mira ban, pretty standard. She can, make a lot of areas really difficult to attack, especially on Cafe. She can make pretty much that entire top floor site completely impenetrable just by being there. And Lunar taking the first victim, that's Tristan, off the board. I'm not even sure how that happened. Was he peeking through the hatch, like, from all the way down below? I'm not really seeing his icon anywhere, but that's the first kill, and of course those air jabs are being swallowed by some of those magnets as well, so that's going to be utility that they are not going to be able to use later on. And oh no! That was Watchdog getting a little bit overzealous there on those walls, going down to the sledge as those flashes are coming out from the skylight, denying NNJ any sort of peaks from where he is at, and he's taking quite a lot of damage as well from the skylight, I do believe. So now in a 3 versus 5, Outnumbered are outnumbered and are trying to salvage something of this round still. Oh, Pivot swinging out to that piano player, able to catch him, however, because he was in a crouch position, which he was not expecting. Benny, on the other hand, does manage to find one, finds the second one as well. NJ can't quite catch the last one, and it's all down to Benny now in a 1 versus 2. He has an angle here onto the Nomad, but it's swing or be swung, and the Nomad swung, won the gunfight, and there goes the first round over very quickly for Budapest 5, for quite a defender-sided map and a defender-sided okay, well, that's just disrespectful. That's just disrespectful from Happy there, saying that this is clearly just a scrim. from Budapest 5. That is disrespectful. I will not stand for that. Both of these teams are here to compete. Can't be saying that. Can't be saying that. That's mean. That's mean. That's one of those. Hey, Mister, and a finger wag or whatever. But I didn't even get to it because of how quickly that round just disintegrated. But I was going to talk more about those bans. Of course, Mira can make a lot of those areas pretty much impossible to get into, and Castle can make this site really, really difficult to attack. Of course, he can close out that entire bakery area, and the player playing in there can pretty much sit pretty inside of there the entire time without ever being contested, or at the very least by wasting so much time because of how much utility you have to throw at him to be able to clear him out. And even at that point, you still might not be able to get him out, as he could just get the kills on you instead. So, very, very vital operator, and you don't see him banned often at all, but we see him banned now, and I think if there was ever going to be a map where he was going to get banned on, it's definitely Cafe. It's not just the bakery, it's also on top floor. He can also make that quite difficult to attack, and it's also on the mid floor. He can, hold on to that vertical control for quite a while. And speaking of the vertical control, it is very, very important for this side as well. But again, this bakery player is in the most vital position so far on this site. Is pulling back a little bit just because of how much utility they are throwing at him. Those Rotero drones, as well as those grenades, flashbangs, everything that they have at their disposal is coming flying. And the Echo does decide to pull back, as it's not that important right now. But Sledge is in an altercation here against the mute on those stairs. Or against the smoke, rather. And Energy finds his first victim in the Sledge. From its out prep, it does get shut down by Lunar. And now they've taken control of the bakery. That's the Echo off the board as well. That's going to hurt them a little bit, as that's going to mean that they don't really have that much plant denial. But look at the spread so far of the defensive team. They're all still upstairs, or half of them are upstairs. Krista's trying to kill onto Watchdog, and now this is looking a little bit more like a Budapest 5 round. But again, the Outnumbered have that vertical advantage, at least for now, but it's dwindling away as Lunar finds the kill onto Pivot, and that's going to hurt. There goes the down from Tristan, but he's left himself on very, very low HP, and with a minute to go, and that also still in play, they're able to go for that plant. Blackwell finds the kill onto Tristan, and unfortunately for Benny, that smoke will not propagate through the wall as they've patched that out. So he's just gonna have to try and hope to find some kills here, but unfortunately he cannot, as Lunar finds him instead. Budapest 5 on a defensive cafe find 2 attacking rounds on 2 of the most difficult sites to attack for most teams, and not even in, a 20-second collapse. Typically, when you see attacking teams win this, it will be because of one of 2 things. Either the defenders got way too aggressive with runouts, spawn peaks, etc., or it was a, 5 versus 5, 20-second meta, collapse onto site, free-for-all. And neither of those things have happened so far for Outnumbered. They weren't getting all that aggressive. Maybe getting a little bit of results with, their peaks, but still not enough to the point where it's like, oh yeah, they were running out, they were spawn peeking, they were doing this, all that, and they got punished for it. That's definitely not what we're seeing here from Outnumbered. But then also, it's not really been a collapse in the final 20 seconds, because Budapest 5 won both of these rounds with 90 seconds or less to spare. And that is really, really insane to me. It's really not something that you see often, and we could be seeing the first run out here coming up from Outnumbered or from Pivot. Maybe not right now, maybe he's just prepping it for later, or, of course, it is Cafe where you break those windows every single time. Or not break the windows necessarily, but break the glass so that the sound propagates better, and then you are able to hear the attackers better whenever they are repelling which is, of course, a very, very important sound cue on defense. And oh no, Black Wolf wasting a little bit more of this utility than he was probably hoping for on those hatches. But of course, it's not going to be the end of the world, even for the Buck, whose entire job is to use that skeleton key on the vertical positions. But he could be catching himself a little kill here, and he will. That goes down Pivus, and his magnets go down with him as well. Of course, Lamar is one of those operators whose utility isn't in play the entire time. It is in play over time. The longer that he's alive, the more utility he has, and him getting taken out not only first, but so very early on is definitely going to hurt them, and they're using more of these return drones to clear out as much utility as possible. That bulletproof camera goes down, and undoubtedly that evil eye will be going down as well, using more of the drones to try and find some information. Those smoke babies are keeping the players up in piano in place, at least for now. Tristan doing a little bit of a whiffage there against Lunar, does find the kill. Black Wolf on the other end of the map does find Watchdog. And a Jay taking so much damage yet again, and that will be something pushing into the bathroom, but he will get shot down by Benny. It was a shotgun in pocket to take him down. Equal numbers here, 3 versus 3, minute to go, and this is where we saw Budapest 5 win both of their rounds as Say What finds it one onto Benny. That could ring true again. Tristan and NJ both are very low HP trying to contest against this. NJ does find a kill onto Say What. Tristan pushing up the white stairs, can't quite catch the kill onto Chris, who will be pulling away. Oh, but Chris finds his onto NJ. He pre-fires onto Tristan, and Tristan is now just a sliver of HP, not even close enough to be able to do anything. Budapest 5 take their third round, and well, now I'm starting to worry for Outnumbered a little bit, because these haven't been even close. I mean, you might think, oh, well, they brought it down to a 2 versus 2 a couple times. Yeah, but it wasn't even close. Because even by that point, they had very little map control, if any, and they didn't really have any way to stop the plant, or really even the HP to try and survive a gunfight for more than, a second. So, yeah, it's really just not been looking good for Outnumbered. They're trying out a new site. They've failed to protect their primary site pick as well as their secondary site pick, both of which are very, very strong sites, typically in Siege, for the defensive team. So the fact that they lost that, that top floor site twice, and that they lost that kitchen site as well, and it wasn't even close on the kitchen site, it's really not looking good for them right now. They're trying out something different. In my workout, this is one of those sites where, it's like about a 50-50, like it's either you win it or you lose it, which sounds so stupid when I say it, but I mean it in the sense of, it's a landslide either way. Very rarely does this come close. It's usually, it'll be either a perfect attack or a perfect defense. Essentially. Not necessarily a flawless round, but it will be very, very close to it, typically. But this has been anything but a typical game so far, with 3 of the first attacking rounds going to the attacking team. So I guess we'll have to see. He tries to go for that C4, but misses. Will not find anything, and that's now 1 C4 less. And on the side of Outnumbered, the only one that they still have in pocket is in the pocket of NJ. The Pulse, who could be doing quite a bit of damage here onto the attacking team, especially if he stays undroned. It could be causing a little bit of trouble as Lunar finds the kill onto Benny, and that's now the smoke off the board. A lot of that area denial and a lot of that time wasting gone. NJ, his position getting revealed by the Dukebi's call. Lunar just pushing straight into mining room and now into the train room, or at the very least will be remaining inside of the train room. NJ taking so much damage through those walls by that DMR, as his Pivot Watchdog as well taking about a bullet damage, so bullet damage. Again, not looking too good for Outnumbered, especially as we reach this 90-second mark, which is where Budapest won a round already. Can Outnumbered hold on to this? I don't know. C4 will be ripped again. It will explode. It will not find anything. It will not even find the Talonate shield. Pivot on the flank. Will find one onto Lunar, but immediately traded out. Soon finds another one for good measure. Down goes NJ, and it's all down to Watchdog as his entire team falls apart. He does find one onto Say What, but that diffuser is still in the hands of Budapest 5, and they still have three of those Candelas from the Ying, so it's going to be really, really difficult for him to try and do anything. 3 Flash is still in pocket of Chris as well, and it will be Chris to shut him down from the pillar. Budapest 5 take the 4th. Timeout requested by Outnumbered. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Really, really not looking good. They need to turn everything around. Just everything. Everything that they're doing isn't working. And it's really hard to tell whether that's just Outnumbered making mistakes and whiffing to that point, or if, a defense that they had down to the wire for every single other. I don't know what that means. That's something in Hungarian. Shout out Hungary, I guess. Yeah, I can't tell whether that's just Outnumbered playing, poorly, because I haven't really found too many mistakes, at least not any glaring ones, other than, maybe, swinging and then missing, that type of stuff, but really not much that you can say about that, or not much that you can control in that sort of situation, but it could just be, a bunch of small mistakes that are snowballing and that are just really, really hurting them. Or if this is just Budapest 5 reading Outnumbered like a book, and just deciding, you know what, we're just going to decimate you completely. And it is really, really surprising that they won it right off the bat. I mean, this is a 4-round winning streak now that they're on. And typically, I spoke about this at length in the previous matchup that we had earlier today between Oblivion and Mindset Gaming, where it was also, or it was a completely different situation, as where the apologies there, bit of a technical difficulties there, but yeah, I spoke at length about how typically the first couple rounds will go to the defense while the attack figures out their play style and gathers enough information on the attacking or on the defensive team to be able to counter them perfectly. It's very, very rare to see the attack start winning from the get-go, and it usually will be because of that aggressiveness getting punished. So the fact that Outnumbered aren't really being that aggressive, they're not going for spawn peaks, they're not going for runs, they're not really playing recklessly, and they're still losing these defensive rounds is really, really bad. And Benny already taking damage, and we've only about 30 seconds into the round. Pivots with a C4, finds Say What, and that could be big, as that is the hard reach off the board now. Those Goya canisters as well will be denying them any further advantage through those walls as well. Was that from the piano window? I do believe it was. So all the way from upstairs, C4 through the window, down into the doorway, finds the kill onto Say What. Harbreacher off the board. Could be their end, but Chris does find the kill onto Watchdog, and Chris finds another one onto Tristan as well. That 417 DMR just hits. It packs such a big punch, and now NJ on the solo is still trying to push back, but it's just unable to do enough. Benny having to rotate around is in a really, really bad position. Pivot does find one from the red stairs, but they've vacated the site, and Lunar finds the kill into Benny. It's all that the Pivots again, a 1 versus X for the side of Outnumbered. They have these cams that are coming out, they're giving out some pings, they're finding these attackers, but is that going to be enough? I don't think so. They can just find those cameras, or they can just move And all of it could really be bad. But Pivot's now pushing down the brown stairs. Say what? Having a bit of a connectivity issues as he disconnects out of the match. Those line scans coming out, and it's Lunar G36E to find a final kill onto Pivot. They extend not only their lead, but their winning streak keeps on going even after the timeout. That was their best chance so far to salvage something, to find something. And they just weren't able to do it. I mean, that was a really, really good opening from Pivot with that C4. He tried to go for a C4 in the round previous, wasn't able to do anything with it. Tried to deploy it up onto the rooftop to find them when they were rappelling onto it right away. Wasn't able to find anything with it. Then went for it in the round after that, found the kill onto the hard breacher, and still it was not enough. His entire team crumbled around him, and he crumbled as well in the end. I mean, it's just outnumbered. I can't even make the pun of they are outnumbered because they're just getting outplayed and outsmarted, and I really did not see this coming. I don't think anyone really saw this coming, even if people expected. Oh god, that is actually. I'm not gonna repeat that, Haffy. I'm not gonna repeat that. But yeah, even if people expected Budapest 5 to win, I don't think that they expected them to win in a fashion such as this. Now, not all is lost yet. The game, there's still so much of the game to play. There's still at minimum one more round to play. Well, at minimum 2 more rounds, rather. But there's at minimum the 1 more round of this half to play. And then there's an entire 6 more of the second half. And who knows? It could be one of those days where, the defense just cannot do anything on Cafe, which, sometimes that happens. Sometimes that really, really happens. We'll go to a defensive-sided map, and we'll be thinking, oh, this is good. The defensive team has got this in the bag, and then it just ends up being one of those days or one of those matchups where the defense is just outplayed every single time, and that very, very well could be the case here. I mean, we've seen teams go 5-1 or even 6-0. And then lose all of that as they head onto their, either defensive or attackers or attacking side, and then we see it go to overtime. So anything can happen still. If you're an outnumbered fan right now, wouldn't count them out yet. Wouldn't lose hope just yet. There's still so much more siege to play out, and it really could be their round, especially as somebody is down below. I'm not really sure who that is. I'm gonna take a gander and say that it's Tristan, and I'm gonna be correct. Whoa, that's a really good guess there from myself. That was a big brain deduction of who is most likely for that to be. It's it's not gonna be NJ. It's definitely not Pivot. We saw him inside of Piano already, and there goes Pivot from that Piano, taking down Black Wolf. Oh, but it's immediately traded out, and they just cannot keep the momentum for even a little bit. They cannot keep the momentum. They cannot hold on for their dear life for that man advantage, but they could be doing it now as Tristan finds the one into Lunar. So they're not really happy about what's happening. Finds the kill into Benny, however, equalizes the man count again from that window, and will be flashing out as well.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
Slowly approaching that 90-second mark, which is where Budapest tends to win their rounds so far this game. Are they going to be able to do it again? Energy taking so much damage, is narrowly avoiding death, but is very, very close to it, especially as he's about as unaware of Sundi as one could be. Say what? Finds Watchdog, and now going to be a bit of an issue. Using one of those summers to open up that Siri gate, and Sundi finds another one onto NJ. Tristan all by himself. Only a few kills to his name so far this game. He's going to have to try and go up against these Titans, and is just not going to be able to do anything against them besides that one kill into the Yana in the beginning of the round. And wow, Budapest 6-0. Yeah, 6-0 lead, 6-0 advantage, match point. It's looking grim for Outnumbered, who are now having to try and attack a defender-sided map, even though it does not look like it's a defender-sided map at all, looking at the scoreboard right now. But it is statistically throughout these qualifiers, even though we've only had it once, but statistically throughout the league in the previous season as well. So this is just gonna... It's just gonna be, well, it's gonna be one to watch, I think. As this could be one of the greatest comebacks that we've ever seen. I mean, from 6-0 to bring it to overtime, Outnumbered are gonna have to put every single drop of blood, sweat, and tears into this, and Budapest 5 are already being a little bit toxic as Chris is prepping a run out from the Heldor. Lunar is bringing a Cav, say what, on the Solace as well, and there goes the run out, there goes the kill too. That's the Yana gone, her nades gone with her, and Pivot's a pretty crucial player so far on the side of Outnumbered, the only player to have cracked 4 kills, which is depressing to even read, off the board, and they're just gonna have to try and salvage this round without him on the board. Nearly TKing each other there, or at the very least doing a little bit of friendly fire damage. Impact grenades will be denying some of those Selmas, leaving Benny to use a lot more of his utility than he was probably hoping to on that wall. Soon with these absolutely terrifying Kiba barriers inside of Piano, that is the reason why Azami is one of the most banned operators in the league so far, is that she can do this to the site. And Black Wolf with another jump out onto Watchdog, and that's the second set of nades gone. That's another player off the board. I'm not really even sure how he's able to do that without Benny being able to cover that off. I really have no idea. He was outside for so long. I don't know where Benny was. I swear to God, we just spectated him being on that balcony like 2 seconds prior. Doing a little bit of pause shots off the Black Wolf, unable to find a kill, and the default was still up. Oh Lord. Yeah, this is what I was talking about, is that this is Outnumbered making small mistakes that are just hurting them so much. They're snowballing into big ones, and they're hurting them. Jump up from Say What does find one, but is immediately traded out, and Benny finds one onto the first jump out, but is unable to cover up anything, and the final one goes down as well. It's a really, really bad 7-0 closeout here from Budapest 5. I mean, great job to Budapest 5 to win that game and to win it so closely, but what happened, Outnumbered? What happened? They gave us the first overtime game so far of the close qualifiers, or of the qualifiers in general, at least on stream, and despite that, it just did nothing. It just did nothing. It just wasn't enough, and it really just it sucks for them, that's for sure. I don't know, they sort of fell apart. I think it's definitely back to the drawing board for them. With their coach, with their analyst. Hopefully they have those. I know a lot of teams, in these sort of tiers don't have coaches or analysts, or have only one but not the other. They sort of mismatch. Yeah, just hoping that they do, and hoping that they can rectify a lot of the damage that has been done in this game. Because that was a really, really, really bad loss for them. But I've no doubt that they will be able to find something to salvage here. Come later on. I mean, there's still 2 more rounds to play of these close qualifiers, so I'm sure they're going to find something. But it was really bad for them right there. I forget what the staff predictions were, but I think even the people that predicted Budapest 5 to win didn't expect it to be a 7-0. I don't think anyone really did. I know I didn't. So, yeah, it's definitely one of those that shocked the nation. But there that is. Have to name an MVP. I really don't know who. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I forgot the players' names. I'm blanking completely. Oh, thank you, Happy. You were the actual MVP. Well, I mean, you didn't really have to pull it up because there was only one player whose name I did remember, who was Chris, and well, I believe that he is the one that had the most kills coming out on that team. Anyway, there hadn't really been that many plants. They got a couple down, but that was mainly just due to circumstance rather than, that being the plan of action. It wasn't the type of situation where it's like, oh, like we got everything correctly for the execute, now we're going to go for the execute. It was mostly, hey, there's 4 of us on site. There's only 1 defender remaining, and he's 2 floors away. Let's plant while we're here. It was more so that situation. I think there was only 1 plant that went down, and it was that one inside of the kitchen when they went to defend that. Every other round went down to kills, and most of those kills did come from Chris. So we'll just give it to Chris for now. But as I say time and time again, the season's still so long. They're gonna have a lot of time to get those MVPs, and Budapest 5 propel themselves all the way up into 3rd as they pick up another win. Outnumbered, join OXC and 5 Stars, who were the undefeated teams that are now defeated teams. And yeah, Budapest 5 propelled themselves into 3rd. With quite a high round difference in there behind Rebuild and Mindset Gaming, which are the only 2 teams to have not lost a game yet. But I guess since that game was that quick, I will let you all go. And that will conclude this matchup. Thank you everybody for watching. There will not be any more streams today, but I do believe there is going to be a couple coming up tomorrow, or at the very least 1 coming out tomorrow with a pretty interesting matchup. So stay tuned for that. Keep those notifications on and join us tomorrow. In any case, I've been Retro. Thank you all for watching. Have a good evening.